Great morning, great morning, great morning. I am Nicole D. Jones, and I am just happy and grateful for another day. I'm happy and grateful for life. I don't take days for granted. I don't take you for granted. I'm going to say it every week. I'm happy and grateful for you. I want to remind you that you are healthy, you are wealthy, and you are prosperous. Everything your hands go to touch, it must, it shall, and it will manifest, prosper, and grow great things because you are great. Okay? As long as we keep getting up, no matter what this journey brings you, whatever trials, tribulations, celebration, whatever it is, anything that happens, as long as we keep getting up, that is the true processing of this journey. And it's Meal Prep Monday, and I'm going to be honest with y'all. I've been thinking about character. I've been thinking about, how we do things outward in versus inward out. And I realized that it was the beginning of the 7th month, 7 being the number of completion. Also, when you look at a year, that means that we're closer to the end of the year than the beginning of the year. Yeah, anyone who knows me knows I'm a numbers person. I like numbers. Math's my favorite subject. But 7, you round up, all right? So we're through more than half of the year at this point. And you guys know I like to do pulse checks. Anyone who knows me also knows I normally don't cancel a morning mindset call. I believe that this is a part of the vision that God has given me. And because I believe it's a part of the vision, I very rarely cancel a mindset call. Monday, I had to cancel the call all because of me. All right. One thing that I don't do, I don't play with Jehovah God and I don't play with his people. I am never going to come before anybody trying to fake the funk. Okay. I'm not going to try to muster something up if it's not in me. And I'm also not going to be dishonest about where I'm at. So I think since I've been doing the call, I don't even know how many years it's been now. I couldn't do the call last week. And so if I'm just transparent, life, I don't even know if life was lifing, but I feel like I was at a point where I just saw my world, okay? I don't know if y'all can identify with this, but at the end of the day, I'm the one. I tell you all the time, there's no battlefield but the mind, all right? But I don't even think it was necessarily a battle, but sometimes we just got to do a pulse check for ourselves and we got to stay true to us. And when, things begin to arise and things start to happen in your own world, you got to be willing to look at you, evaluate you, see where you are, and face some real live truths that's in your journey. That's what happened with me. All right. Like this year, Father's Day hit me very different. I was very sad, very hurt, because the reality of my new normal, physically, he's not here. Okay. And yes, I go through what I need to continue to grieve with hope and not like the world. I do whatever I need to do to look at my glass half full, never half empty. But at the end of the day, the reality is he is someone that was, man, he's my rock. Okay. Even in his absence, he is still my rock. When I make decisions, I still consider his thoughts because I know him enough to be able to navigate enough of what he would probably say. Now, there are new things that come into my life that I really don't know which way he would tell me to go. But for the majority, because I know him, because he's in me, because he's a part of my natural DNA, he is a part of what created me, I have to learn to pull inward out. Okay? So Last week I was a mess. Last week I wasn't together. Last week I had to face the forefront of my life and my journey and see it for the ugly that it can be. All right? Everything that's beautiful still got, listen, there's specks on things that are beautiful. My journey is beautiful because it comes from Jehovah God. But there are still parts of it that I wish were different. There are parts of me that I wish were different. And if I'm going to speak on character, I have to encourage you today to go and self-evaluate. Because if you don't, you will decline. All right? Period. Period. None of us are Superman, Superwoman. We can have the mindset of it, but this natural flesh, it gets tired. This natural flesh, it gets run down. This natural flesh will lay you down, right? And if you don't take the time to have soul care, like what I shared with y'all week before last, you've got to do that soul care, right? I took the time to take the mindset call and be true to me. Now, how I got to having to do the soul care, I ain't like it. But the reality is, we've got to do this in order for us to keep getting back up. All right? I really feel like, I don't know if anyone needs to hear this, but I need to hear it. Okay? I think sometimes it's, well, first of all, I say it all the time. It's the inner me that's my biggest enemy. Okay? But now I understand the inner me is the one that's the fixed fight. And I win. So when we get to places in this journey where we're heavy, we get to this place in this journey where we're anxious, we get to where we don't know why what's going on is going on. We have to be willing to see ourselves and where we're the deficit. Okay? What's missing in me? I had to look, and you know, I even had shared, or you know, my glass is always half full, never half empty. And if I sit, and the reason I don't share a lot of times is because I know that I'm blessed and highly favored. All right. As the super saints would say. All right. I'm blessed and highly favored. I don't say it as a cliche. I know it. God has kept his hand on me. He has moved his hand from death from me. He has removed cells in my body that don't belong there. He has, you know, made ways out of no ways. He's allowed me to be a single mom, and my daughter never missed a beat according to what the world says. He's been my Jehovah Jireh. He's my provider. He's Jehovah Nissi. He's everything that he says that he is, because he's a God of principle. Okay. So a lot of times I don't share when I get in these places, but the reality is we all question, we all feel sad, we all want more, we all do the woulda, coulda, shoulda, but what ifs, but we all have that but in the sentence. I want to encourage you this week, take time to process that. All right? This world is set up to kind of creep in to those places and then hit you all at once. All right? It hit me all at once last week. But the blessing in it is you got to know your safe places. Okay? Just because I live in this house and I got a whole husband and I got a couple kids, a few kids, it doesn't mean that they're always the place that's safe. And you got to be okay with that. The world will make you think that, oh, you're this family and you're this unit. And, if you're married, then your spouse is your best friend. Sure, he's your best friend, but he's my best friend. All right. If he need a title, all right, that's added to the titles. But you think about your relationship with your friends. Now, I ain't got many that I call friend, but each one of them serve a different purpose with me. The main thing, none of it's the same. All right. So that's how I look at safe places. You got to know where your safe places are in this journey, because just like on the racetrack, the car eventually has to stop at the pit stop. If they're the first car, the last car, the middle car in the race, they must go to the pit stop or they will run out of gas. All right? Know your safe places. Be willing to refuel, and don't be ashamed about it. I ain't ashamed. Okay? I'm not ashamed, because at this point in the game, if you don't know my heart, if you don't know how I view what I believe God has given me, even with these calls, listen, I don't have the time or the energy to prove it to you. Okay? So anyone who knows me, and thank you for those who reached out. Like, hey, you don't cancel a call, you good? My response wasn't, well, anyone who knows, I'll be like, listen, pray for me. I don't feel good, but I'll be good. Okay? I'm not gonna, listen, I can't deceive you, because I'm intentional to not deceive me. All right? So, Meal Prep Monday. What do I want us to do? As we're working on our character, as we are being the best versions of us unapologetically, as we're learning soul care to go along with our self-care, I need you to do pulse checks, and I need you to be true to where you are and what you're feeling. Because one thing I can guarantee you, God is a God of principle. All right? He can't lie. He's a covenant God. He's a covenant maker. All right? He has made covenant with us. So if you're going through something, I will put my breath on it. There is a safe place that's predestined and preordained for you to weather that part of your journey. Okay? We just have to learn how to submit. How are you the best version of you unapologetically? It's through a posture of submission to Jehovah God. It's through a posture of submission through the Holy Ghost. It's through a posture of submission of whatever you want to call it, as long as it's the right thing, okay? If you want to call it intuition, you just better make sure that at the end of it, that root is the Holy Ghost, all right? You submit, okay? And then you are humble enough to go wherever the Spirit is telling you to go. Okay? Well, I don't know if I can trust him. Who asked you to? You don't trust the person. You trust who's in you. Because I'm a firm believer. Listen, if I need the oxygen mask, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, Holy Spirit gonna take me to the mask. I don't care if it's dusty, got dirt on it, whatever. When I breathe in, if it's him, it's gonna be exactly what I need. And because I trust him, you gonna try to put your mouth on me if you want to. That part. You gonna try to talk about me? He'll mummify and dumbify whoever and wherever you trying to talk about me. Their mind won't even be able to keep a grasp of it. But on the flip of it, you're gonna put your mouth on me. I don't fight my battles. Vengeance is not mine. But the one who vindicates me, that's on y'all. I'll get out the way. Ain't got nothing to do with it. Okay. And I'm not saying this to be ugly. I just want you to understand there is nothing that we go through that we're supposed to go through alone, in the sense of we have community. That's how we were created. The garden was community. Now, we have to bear our own cross, but you do realize that everyone is doing that. So you're never a lone ranger. Okay? He will put a safe place as a stranger. The reason I have the relationships that I have at restaurants is because I needed a safe place. And he allowed table number 9 at Carrabba's to be a safe place for me. And whatever server is there, even if I don't have to air out my dirty laundry, the fact that I can have someone to just appreciate me, if I have money to give them or if I don't, may be all I need in that time. When we're doing soul care, can we get our original creator out of a box? Listen, my expectations are very high, okay? But I also know how to discipline them. Then knowing how to discipline them, I put them high in the right places, okay? Sometimes we can't get free because we want our freedom to look a certain way. But if you knew what you needed, then why are you bound? Ooh, I feel a soapbox. And I ain't gonna get on it today. All right? Soul care. Okay? The strong of us will fall to our knees. But it's a fixed fight. And we already won. Y'all don't forget that. Okay? You don't forget it. When we can start focusing on the right things, man, this journey is so simple. I keep telling you this. This journey has been created to be so simple. But what's simple to do is also simple not to do. But the revelation we need to come up with, it's not simple because of you. Because we win. So whatever we face, we've already won. It's already defeated. But it don't always feel like that. And the winning don't always look the way we think it should. But I guarantee you, just out of covenant and principle, there's always a pit stop, a refilling. There's always a place to go. Always. Okay? Right now, they done called 5 more medications. They done tried to give me more medication. You know, I got to go see all these specialists. But, you know, like I told you, I'm going to do what I need to do. But I'm doing it, and I have no problem doing it. And no, I ain't taking the medicine yet. I am feeling it, though. All right? I'm feeling it. And I've taken a couple pills. Not that one. Not that one that starts with the D. That's supposed to be for whatever. But I have been taking that narco, y'all. Hey, it's prescribed and it's legal. But no, in all seriousness, when I get a headache and it gets to be too much, I will take half of that hydrocodone or whatever they gave me. And I will take the Flexerol when the tension knots come, okay? But all that other stuff that's supposed to be for all these primary organs, child, please, the blood of Jesus runs through my veins. But I am doing what I need to do to allow this body to heal itself. I'm drinking my water. I'm detoxing. All right. I'm changing the way that I eat. I'm doing these things, and I'm going to the specialist because they are the specialists to be a specialist. All right. Pit stops, re-ups. Okay. We all need them. But I want to encourage you to do the soul care. I also want you to know you're not the only one going through something. But what did I tell y'all before? We're learning to be the buffalo. We run to the storm. We don't run away from it. We're not the cow. All right? We're not going to go hide in the barn because we understand that the storm is going to pass. Period. And we're learning in soul care to recognize what safe places are. Okay? What is a safe place for you? And it does not have to be this big thing. Now, this weekend, last weekend, whatever, I guess Sunday, you know what, it was a big, I needed a big safe place. But it could be as little as table number 9. All right? It's to the point now where anyone who come eat with me, they know. The host knows who I am, and they know to ask for the table. But there is a peace that comes for me. Okay? God always knows how to give us what we need. We just got to get them out the box and stop looking for something so big. We got to stop. So, Meal Prep Monday. I hope that makes sense to somebody. We got a couple minutes. I don't know if anybody wants to unmute themselves. They have anything to say. We only got a few minutes.
I do.
Who's me? Who's I? Okay.
When you say define soul care, and this now when you said God always give us what we need, but do we always know how to receive it?
Is that a question, or you telling us?
No, it's there. Just 2 questions. I'm saying, in your opinion, do you think? Because I mean, me personally, I know God always give us what we need, but me personally don't know how to receive it or what to do with it.
I feel like what we have to understand is God gives us what we ask for according to our capacity. So he only gives us what we can obtain or what we can handle. So if you're in a place where, and for soul care, listen to the last message, because I went into what the difference was between self-care and soul care. But when we ask God for things, he can only give us to our capacity of what we can handle. So it's a capacity issue. Because if he gives us past what we can handle, it could destroy us. Now, what do I mean by that? We got to ask God to expand our capacity, because in our creation, in our original DNA, remember, we're spirit with soul wrapped in this flesh. So with that, kingdom is already in us. Everything that we need to go and navigate through this journey, it's already in us. What then becomes the question, if we're not receiving it, then what does our capacity look like? And an only example that I can use that everyone can identify with is money. Okay? Because money is not a God to us, but at the end of the day, money is needed in this journey. It's relevant. It's a relevant tool in our walk through this journey called life. So we can ask God for $1 million. We can pray and ask him for this money, and we could even need it. All right? And when he answers our prayer and only gives us $100, we feel like he hasn't answered. But we need to look at our capacity. Are we a steward over our finances that can handle $1 million? Or do we steward our finances on $100 level? And then because we write the vision and we make it plain and we see it at the end, are we too far from the end that even when he gives us the blessing, we miss it because it's so small? That's just food for thought. That's how I see it. But to answer your question is our capacity. And this is another reason why I say in this week, take the time to really self-evaluate yourself. Because God is a God who wants us. Well, no, he don't want us. We were created royalty. All right. We're sons and daughters. We're priesthood. All right. We're heirs to the king. Like, we are all these things, which is why soul care is important. We've got to learn how to come from the inside out and not the outside in. And in the process of asking him to expand our capacity, we got to sit on Psalms 46 and 10. Is it Psalms 46 and 10? Be still and know that I'm God. Somebody a Bible scholar on here. Believe it's Psalms. I know it's 46 and 10. Psalms 46 and 10. But you got to be still. Either we believe this is a fixed fight and we've already won, or we don't. And when we feel like we're losing, we've got to learn how to go internally. And that's a process. It don't happen overnight. We've got to learn how to imagine things again. That's why we got to become childlike with God. The tainting, we got to learn to peel layers back on ourselves. Because I got 51 years of layers. Not because I'm not loved, but because these things were created to create and make me the best version of me. So that's capacity. It's 10:29. I hope that makes sense. If it does not make sense, reach out to me. All right. If it don't make sense, if you don't know how to reach out to me, then send it through YouTube. And talk about it some more if anyone has any question. But y'all know I don't want to belabor your time. I'm trying to find what is this?
It's absolutely powerful.
If y'all want to continue, Jacinta, put this in the chat. Just text me 404-800-3975. All right? It comes directly to me. (404-800-3975).
800-375.
I want to remind you guys to stay focused, to stay humble, to stay positive, to be the best version of you unapologetically, because nobody else can do it. And you are relevant, you are necessary, you are needed. And your portion is to count it all joy, every trial and tribulation, because these things did not come to destroy us, but it came to continue to allow us to understand our tenacity and our perseverance. All right? So I am Nicole D. Jones, and I want you to continue to have a fantabulous rest of the day. Smooches.